Can a wicked person ever become good? Can a murderer have good qualities? To answer these questions, I will tell you an interesting story. In the times of Swami Vivekananda, there lived a saint by the name of Pavhari Baba. He lived in a small town called Gazipur near the holy city of Banaras. Pavhari Baba was so called by the locals as he seemed to survive mainly on air. Air in Hindi is called Pavan and food is called Ahar, and so he got the name Pav Ahari or air eating Baba. Now people gave him this name because they observed that whenever Pavhari Baba cooked food, instead of eating it himself, he gave it away to the needy. He kept nothing for himself. His own hunger he satisfied by eating a few bitter leaves or some red chili peppers. Now you may wonder, is such a thing even possible? Can one give away all their food to others and themselves stay hungry? So yes, although rare, such a thing is possible for those great sages who have raised their mind far above the state of ordinary human consciousness to the exalted state of God consciousness. In this high state, these sages perceive and experience the profound spiritual truths which permeate the universe. And upon experiencing these truths, the behavior and perspective of these sages changes completely. What are these truths? One of them is Eko Deva Sarva Bhutantaratma. There is only one God, only one ocean of consciousness who forms the innermost self, the Atman, the soul of all living beings. Pavhari Baba had experienced this reality firsthand. He did not have just a bookish understanding of this truth which has been noted down in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad of the Yajurveda. And therefore Pavhari Baba worshipped in a most concrete and direct way this living God who resides in the soul of all living beings. When he fed others, Pavhari Baba knew that he was not just feeding the outer bodily form, rather he was feeding Lord Rama himself who was seated in the soul of the person. Even animals were not exempt from his divine generosity. The same reverence for the Supreme Lord seated in their soul was accorded to them too. Once a dog snatched away a piece of roti, but instead of getting angry, Pavhari Baba ran after it saying, "Allow me, O Lord, to butter it for you." Another time a cobra bit him, but the sage did not become fearful or angry. Instead he laughed it away by saying, "A message has come from my beloved." The poison too had no effect on Pavhari Baba's body, for he had a perfectly controlled mind of a yogi. You must all have heard the story of Mirabai, the saint who was given a cup of poison to drink, but the poison had no effect on her. This is the power of a perfectly controlled mind, which is perfectly centered on God at all times. So this centeredness on God was also Pavhari Baba's state of mind. He saw not the outer form of the living being, but only its divine soul. Contrast this with a common person's mind who cannot see the divine soul present within another, but stops only at the outer form and judges based on that. A common person respects a rich person more than the poor, values wealth over simplicity. A common person many a times ill-treats animals, for he has no sympathy for them. In this way, the mind of the common person stops outside and cannot penetrate inside and see the divinity of the living being's soul. Pavhari Baba's mind, on the other hand, dwelt far above this shallow, materialistic, ordinary human plane. Often Baba would stay inside his cave for months absorbed in continuous meditation, and would not come out at all. No one knew what he ate during these periods, and all these incidents gave him the name of Pav Ahari Baba or air-eating sage. His cave too was peculiar. Since Gazipur was situated in the Gangetic plains, and there were presumably no mountain caves nearby, Pavhari Baba had dug a tunnel in the ground on the banks of the river Ganga and used to live inside it. This dwelling choice may seem peculiar to us, but there was a rationale behind it. Such an underground tunnel was more suitable for meditation as the temperature inside was always even, cool in the summer and warm in the winter, and furthermore, outside sounds did not penetrate through and disturb the mind of one immersed in meditation. During his travels across the length and breadth of India, Swami Vivekananda had the honor of meeting Pavhari Baba personally. He held the saint in such high regard that he was contemplating taking Deeksha or initiation from him. But then he beheld the luminous form of his Guru Sri Ramakrishna forbidding him from doing so, and so Swami Vivekananda gave up the idea. It is interesting to note that at this time Sri Ramakrishna had already given up his body, but he still appeared before Swami Vivekananda and forbade him from taking Deeksha from Pavhari Baba. Now Sri Ramakrishna's forbidding was not to cast any doubt or aspersion over the saintliness of Pavhari Baba. Rather, Swami Vivekananda had a work to do in the world. He had yet to accomplish the mission for which he took birth. This mission was not only to spread the light of Vedanta to the east and the west, but also to restore the self-respect and pride in their own culture which Indians had lost due to a prolonged period of foreign rule. Swami Vivekananda's immense success in the West restored this pride back to Indians and gave them the confidence to fight for their freedom. Up until that point, they were a weak and demoralized lot who could not even imagine being free. India's freedom struggle, if one studies carefully, was entirely based on Vedantic ideals. So this was Swami Vivekananda's mission for which he had taken birth, and had he taken Deeksha from Pavhari Baba and stayed back in his ashram to focus on spiritual practices, he would not have gone forth to America and accomplished his mission. And hence his Guru Sri Ramakrishna appeared before him and forbade him from taking Deeksha. Now from this incident we can also see how genuine gurus provide very specific guidance to their disciples. And we too can receive this type of guidance provided we work hard to reform our mind of its bad tendencies and make it pure. We must become worthy of receiving such grace. Returning back to Pavhari Baba, about him Swami Vivekananda once recounted the following amazing incident. Once a thief entered into Pavhari Baba's hut to rob him of his few belongings. As the thief was about to leave the place with the stolen goods, the saint woke up. This frightened the thief and he threw down everything and started running away. Pavhari Baba promptly picked up the things and followed the thief. Finally, after a hot chase, he caught up with the thief and begged him to accept the goods. "All these are yours, Narayana," Baba told the thief, who stared at him in disbelief. Narayana, of course, is the name of Lord Vishnu. The thief could not believe that instead of getting angry or beating him up, the sage was offering all his possessions to him. Now the story of the thief does not end here. As Swami Lokeshwarananda of the Ramakrishna Mission has recounted in his book Swami Vivekananda, the Friend of All, later on during his wanderings in the Himalayas, Swami Vivekananda one day noticed a sadhu of luminous appearance. After some conversation, Swamiji became convinced that the sadhu was of a high order. But he was astonished when the latter said, "I was that thief who attempted to steal from the saint. When Pavhari Baba handed me everything that belonged to him with a smile and addressed me as Narayana, I realized what a crime I had committed and how mean I was. From that moment I gave up my evil pursuit of material wealth and engaged myself in the search for spiritual wealth." So this is the transformative power that genuine saints possess. In the presence of their highly purified sattvic heart and mind, even the worst sinner can be immediately transformed into a saint. In Lord Buddha's life too, we find such a transformation of the dacoit Angulimal, who robbed and killed people and wore a necklace of his victim's fingers. We know that the minute he met Buddha, he immediately transformed and became a monk. The second lesson we draw from this wonderful story is that because of the presence of the divine soul within all, none is ever so bad as to not be able to reform themselves. All have the potential to change for the better, and for this reason Swami Vivekananda used to say, sinners are potential saints. Therefore we must never condemn people. We must never say, oh, this person is totally hopeless, he will never change his bad ways. But we must remember that even the worst sinner has some good qualities in them, and even he is capable of change, because the soul of even the worst sinner is divine. Angulimal the dacoit had within him the good quality of renunciation, because of which he could in an instant renounce and let go of his deeply ingrained habit of cruelty and committing robberies and murders. So no one is hopeless or beyond redemption. And finally, the last lesson we can draw is that saints like Pavhari Baba are not textbook regurgitators, meaning that they have not read some scriptures and then they regurgitate, that is, they retell those teachings. Rather, they have actually experienced and realized the spiritual truths which are noted down in the scriptures. They speak not from a place of mere intellectual understanding, but from the depths of first-hand experience. It is one thing to read something and quite another to actually experience it. Like it's one thing to read a book on parenting and another thing to actually become a parent. The actual experience of becoming a parent to a child can never be fully written down in a book. And the one who has actually become a parent knows far more and can teach us far more than the one who has only read a book on parenting. So similarly, a true saint speaks from the point of view of actual experience. Now, if you want to discover more such wonderful incidents from the lives of our great saints, then do visit our website at www.spiritualbee.com. The site contains links from where you can download many spiritual books for free, as well as download the Gayatri Mantra sung in various ragas. So make sure you deepen your understanding of the spiritual truths outlined in the Vedas, the Gita, and the Upanishads by visiting thespiritualbee.com. So with this last point, I end this video and we shall meet again in the next one.